howling banshee. The tent shook so violently that Anna thought it would be torn from its moorings and sent tumbling across the ice. Snow as fine as sand blasted against the thin fabric. It sounded like 1,000 tiny claws trying to get in. She huddled in her sleeping bag, her body rigid with terror. The snow wall she had worked so hard to build was no match for this. She heard a crack, then a whoosh, as a section of the wall collapsed under the sheer force of the storm. The fury of the storm was relentless. It went on for hours, a solid wall of sound and fury that seemed to have no end. The temperature inside the tiny tent plummeted. The cold was a physical pain, a sharp, biting thing that found every gap in her layers of clothing. Her little shelter was failing. She felt a sudden sharp tear, and a blast of icy wind and snow shot into the tent. A seam had ripped open. Panic seized her. She scrambled to find her repair kit, her fingers so cold they felt like useless sticks. She tried to patch the hole, but the wind was too strong, tearing the patch from her grasp. Her shelter was gone. The wind ripped the tent apart, shredding it into pieces that vanished instantly into the white chaos. Anna was exposed, thrown into the heart of the blizzard. The wind knocked her off her feet, and she was swallowed by a swirling vortex of snow. She couldn't see. She couldn't breathe. It was like being buried alive. She curled into a ball, trying to protect her face, trying to conserve any scrap of warmth. This is it, she thought. This is how it ends. Drowned in a sea of frozen whiteness. The roaring of the wind was the only thing in the universe. Hope was a distant, flickering candle, and the storm was a hurricane trying to snuff it out. Anna knew she would die if she stayed still. She had to move. She had to find some kind of shelter, any kind. She crawled on her hands and knees, blind and deafened by the storm. Her hand touched something solid. It was the remains of her snow wall. It wasn't much, but it was something. She clawed her way behind the broken wall, digging a shallow trench in the snow with her bare hands, ignoring the searing pain. She burrowed into the snow, pulling her tattered sleeping bag over her. It was a desperate, primal act of survival. When the blizzard finally passed, it left behind a world transformed. The sky was a brilliant, painful blue, and the sun glared off the new snow with blinding intensity. Anna crawled out of her snow ditch, a ghost clad in frost. Her body ached with a deep, penetrating cold, but it was her mind that felt the most damaged. The silence had returned, but it was different now. It was filled with echoes. She thought she heard things. A faint whisper carried on the wind, a sound like distant laughter. She knew it was